that
We're live.
I think we're live. We're live!
I got this from my Christmas tree.
These Spice Girls!
Christmas edition.
finally
Yay!
here. Tell us what happened in the Philippines. I think that's something that was very close to our hearts last week, and this is why
Exactly.
we couldn't host the session. But also, it's been ringing the alarms everywhere with the impacts of climate change.
Yeah, last week, Thursday, in fact, no, Super Typhoon Rai. We call it Odette in the Philippines. It's a
Hmm.
category 5. So it hit the southern part of the country, displacing around 300,000 people and wiping out, almost all the infrastructure. All the homes there made from light materials, of course, even some of the concrete buildings, some of the gymnasium. You can see videos with roofs just being blown away. So, thankfully, the body count is not that high considering that it's a category 5, but damage to homes, crops, other property, that is the one that's really really alarming. And relief efforts are not really that efficient at the moment because it's the islands, no? So once the airports are damaged, communication, infrastructure is damaged, so it's very hard to reach the areas. There's no electricity. Some areas have generators set, so that's how they manage to get some news outside. But we've been trying to mobilize a lot of resources because we've been hearing um, news that water and food supplies are running very low. No, so even for us here in the main island of Luzon, uh, the typhoon happened in the Visayas and Mindanao. So
Hmm.
it's quite far, but because it's so huge, and it was moving so slow, even areas here in Luzon were also slightly affected, no? Even in our homes, we did not have electricity because there was in preparation for strong winds, etc. So now we are just trying to mobilize whatever support coming from private sector, civil society, because the government is not really responding. It's very much concerned about campaigning. So all the presidential candidates have nice announcements saying they donated this and they donated that, but in terms of systematic efficient mobilizing of resources like food, water, medicines, that's a huge challenge at the moment.
Oh wow!
And what's more, this super typhoon Rai is already outside the Philippine area of responsibility, but because there is another low pressure area, coming, there's a possibility that this super typhoon will do an about face and come back again to the Philippines.
No!
Yeah,
Wow.
so we are still monitoring the situation, and hopefully, the typhoon changes course. It becomes weaker and weaker. So the next 24 hours is still very crucial for us.
Wow.
Wow!
So it's going to come back again in the next 24 hours. That's what
That's
the
what the weather
prediction.
projections are saying.
Oh my God. Oh my
Hitting
God.
the same area in the Visayas
No!
and
No!
Mindanao.
No! That's horrible. Oh gosh. Because I know that there haven't been too many losses of human lives, only material lives. But if they're coming back again, then it's gonna be terrible.
So that is what climate crisis looks like, no, for everyone. The
Guys,
Yeah,
we
Philippines
live
is the
in.
poster child of the climate crisis, I guess.
yeah. Yeah, and this is really why we really wanted to host this holiday special, because we think that global solidarity is so important. Global action is more pressing and urgent now than ever, and we cannot just close our eyes and think these are things that are happening at the local level and it's happening everywhere. It's displacing to having impacts everywhere, and as you see, the people least have responsibility are suffering the harshest impact. So we felt it was also part of our responsibility to host this holiday special and also use it to raise awareness of what is happening in the Philippines. So thank you, that and all of our solidarity and hugs to you and your beloved and your people. But
Thank
also,
you.
yeah, we had a full show prepared. First of all of us are in this ridiculous outfit, wearing either ugly sweaters, Santa
I'm
with
wearing a sweater in 30 degrees heat in Manila.
Oh, that just like you don't need to.
or the stars that are colorful for the seasons. So yeah,
I
Yeah,
don't know
there's
how
so
even
much
to
to
wear
be
like Santa hat, you know?
thankful for and hopeful about, no? For this year and of course, hopefully for the coming year.
yeah.
Yay!
And
Right.
let tell the audience what was our idea. We wanted to have returning guests from the first semester of the Spice Girls show, and many of them confirmed last week. But now this holiday, so there many obstacles came here. So yes, the Spice Elves.
Hi,
Hopefully,
Shannon!
are also wearing some silly costume to share with us today. But let me tell you, we're also having this amazing guest who is here now. So let's welcome
Woohoo!
Tini. And she was one of our guests during the year. And now she's really fantastic in joining all of us today. So let's tell Adriana Armumbi to help us
My
bring.
magic star will bring her to the studio.
Yeah. Woohoo.
Let's welcome Alice!
Ale, ale.
Let me ask something.
Yay! But you
And
know, like that there's so many things that we have to like, share for this season, right? So we have been talking a lot. We go through a lot of things, in the seasons with the Despised Girl, and then we talk about the struggle for economy, climate, gender, social justice. We're talking about some policy reform. We're talking about like how we want to develop finance and etc. Right? So this is like really a coming together, sort of like a episode for us to
Yeah.
actually just to recall that. And then this is like I'm
let me get
very
my
very excited.
And this actually started as a crazy idea, no? That really tried to bank on the notoriety of the despised girls, meaning Emilia, Rina, and myself, our natural rapport, our shared experiences, our crazy adventures and misadventures that would
That's true.
hopefully contribute to the campaign of campaigns. We wanted to try and unpack what is all of this economic justice issue, what are the struggles, in a manner that is somehow more accessible to non-economists, more accessible to activists, ordinary people on the ground, because for sure, no, we're talking about our lives, our livelihoods, our very survival, in this beautiful planet. So, yeah, it's been what, 14 sessions already. And wow, I can't believe that
14 sessions. Oh my
14,
God, time flies. 14?
13. Yeah, 13 sessions.
14 sessions.
Wow. So sorry, I think we're having some problems in bringing Ale, but she will be here. Oh, there she is. Yay!
Hello, Ale.
Ale, you're still
Muted.
muted. You're muted. You're muted.
It takes
All right.
time. Now,
Yay!
Welcome.
this is my colorful Christmas costume. The more reddish I could get for today.
Lovely. Thank you so much for joining us, Ale. We were making a recount on how the Spice Girls show came alive as an initiative of the Campaign of Campaign to try to bring these messages to, regular people, but also a space to connect amongst ourselves as activists. And we're thinking that this holiday special was also important because this year has been tough. This has been so pressing, exhausting, demanding. And of course, the global space, the global cooperation is not really responding in the way we need to. So it's been taking a toll on us as activists to really keep on pushing. But then this was also a space just to be in community, in solidarity, to close up this year and to share what do we want for next year. But first of all, Ale, tell us, how are you? We've missed
Well,
you.
I began my holidays a day ago. So my body still doesn't know that the holidays are here, but I think slowly I will get into that mood. Yeah, I'm in a beach house with my mom and my kid.
Oh, lovely.
So yeah, starting to feel, the energy. It's down a little bit, but I couldn't say no to this invitation. At the end of the day, I am a Spice Girl, so
You are.
I have to be in it.
Yay.
Yeah. And Rina, tell us how you are.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm totally fine. I'm wearing my. I couldn't. I
What are
tried
you wearing?
to wear this Santa hat, but it seems like it doesn't go with me. So I'm just going to wear this. It's really,
Goes
it's
with
really
you.
great. What? Really, I
Everything
couldn't
goes
hear
with you.
you.
You look perfect.
Everything is super, and then I'm going to have my holiday starting tomorrow also. So yeah, taking a
Yeah.
break after a quite, hard, long year that we've all endured, right? Yeah. So that's really nice to have like the last evening together with
Yeah.
the Spice Girls.
How about you,
Finally.
Victoria? How are you?
Well, same as you. My holidays will start tomorrow. It's been insane, and the more I want to say no, no, please. So I wanted to take my holiday since Friday. It's been impossible. I don't know why people keep on being obsessed with work. So yeah, and at least to me, the session was also very special to close. And to me, this is not work. This is really my family, and to being with my global family and having an occasion to being in everybody's houses or whatever. If you're doing the dishes while we're still talking here, that's amazing to us because it's really a way to feel the love, to share the love, and to regain the energy that we were losing or giving and sharing without with non-stop throughout the year.
Yes.
Oh, the logo.
A punch in our faces.
Yes. The Spice
Our
Girls.
logo. Okay, so let me tell the audience what is the plan. The technical team will let us know, but just to announce what is going to happen today, we asked our guests for the year to share, because the topic of the day is what do I want for holidays? Please tell me what's the elegant way. The song, what's all I want for Christmas is, and so we changed the title to All I Want for Holidays Is, and we asked all our guests to submit a card with their wishes for the holidays.
Forgot the card.
Oh, so there is a slide with some of the cards that our guests sent. And we want to discuss our cards and to discuss the messages of those guests who very generously submitted their cards so that we could have this conversation. We may want many things for these holidays and for next year, and we're very excited to finish this session with what is it that we want for the holidays. All I want for the holidays is, and we have amazing, fantastic messages from all around the world. So let's start. Who wants to start? All of us had to do our card. Some of us didn't, some of us did. So, but we can take ownership collectively of all of the amazing cards that are here around. So who wants to start?
I can start. Oh, maybe. Okay, Tete.
No, you made the card. So show us your masterpiece.
Yeah, show us,
Right.
Rina.
All right. Yeah. So, I mean, like, I will show my masterpiece, but just a disclaimer that I want to also give credit really for even like for this idea, what I want, what we want from holiday is what is actually coming from, this idea that Sanam, one of our speaker used to have, she's making this awesome feminist holiday greetings and holiday cards and then give it around in the office that time when I'm still working with her. So one that Sanam give to me is really inspiring. I'm just going to, we cannot see it. It said that may your work and corporate hegemony in the coming years. And then you can see it there, right? In the white one, below there. That is actually exactly the card that Sanam gave to me in 2017, right? So this is really, 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 like true to what I still feel right now. And then, yes, I want, what I want for holiday is to dismantle of corporate hegemony. But I really wish that my work in the coming years will always end corporate hegemony. So I make my own. And then, yeah. And then actually, if you open this card, and then I cannot show you right now, but later on I can, you can have like my 2022 resolution to dismantle corporate hegemony.
Wow.
Yay!
So I put there, like, for instance, I'm going to name and shame at least 2 corporations per month in my social media, be it in Twitter or Facebook or something like that, for their human rights violation that they are doing, like all of those stuff. So I try to make my resolution coming in. So this is the one that I have. May your work, Ale, and also Milia and Tetet, and corporate hegemony in the coming years. Yeah.
Yay.
That sounds
was
like
a
a
nice
card.
one.
That sounds like a card that Ale would have submitted, right, Ale?
True. But
So
maybe,
what is your
I don't know.
holiday wish, Ale?
My
No,
holiday wish.
please. Okay. I just want to devote some time reacting to Rina's to each of the cards so that we don't just go over them like, people just
Okay.
brought them. I think to me it's really important to talk about the message that Rina brought here to really honor it and to think about what are we going to do next year and what is the situation here. And maybe Ale, you can share a bit about the struggle of the community that is working to end corporate capture and what are our dreams for next year.
Sure. Let me just close a door here because there's a lot of noise coming from outside. Give me some minutes.
From the beach, a lot of noise from the beach.
I want to go to the beach now.
I know.
Sorry for that. Yeah, I think that I think one of the good signs is that more and more I hear more and more feminists and movements giving that message, right? I think that years ago we were maybe less detailed about this kind of, of messages about corporate. I think that more and more we are embracing this corporate impunity, challenging the corporate impunity. We are naming the companies. We are not only shaming, but we are also, I think, as movements, more and more engaging in death quality research with other movements on this issue of, what we call years ago the private sector. Remember when we were back in the Agenda 2030, and we were talking about private sector, something that, of course, we were tapping, but not not with this strength. And I guess that with the pandemic, with the pharmaceuticals being, I think, the more outrageous, evidence of, the corporate elite, this is a sign of what is here to stay, right? If in a moment of pandemic, pharmaceuticals use this moment to really increase their wealth instead of joining forces with states and with movements to really release the vaccines for everybody. I think this is, the more brutal sign of capitalism, of, the powerless states that we have, because let's remind ourselves that is 10 of the more powerful leaders of the world called for the TRIPS waiver. And in spite of that, in spite of the millions of civil society movements, UN agencies calling for that, pharmaceuticals are still, depriving the world from succeeding. So I think that more and more this call for ending impunity is what will be central for our movements to really work together. We have different strengths. We have trade unions with a lot of strength in that. We have movements that go to the streets. We have our feminist movements with very in-depth knowledge about the intersectionality of this, impunity. So I do think that there is a framework for us to collaborate in the future. I don't see easy strategies, Emilia. I don't see how. But I do think that we need to go behind that big capital. We need to go also behind the investors. I do think that we need to go behind the investors and the banks that also give loans to these pharmaceuticals, right? I think that so many times we believe in the states, and in putting our energies because we believe in democracies, we live in state power. And at the end of the day, they are the ones, that are, accountable to us. But we have seen that the states are powerless in front of these Pfizers, these Amazon CEOs. So we need
complicit.
to go to those capitals.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ale. And just to say that we are very inspired by your work, Ale, and we will keep on following your lead next year and supporting all of the messages and all of the actions that you and fantastic feminist groups, and as you say, many organized movements are doing to end corporate hegemony. And so, yes, so may your work end corporate hegemony in the coming years.
Yeah,
That's our first wish.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you, Sanam, for the inspiration as well. So which other card?
Okay,
That
so
you,
we need to look,
yeah.
we need to see the card again, Andriana, maybe. Which one? Ooh, oh, very nice, yeah.
Yeah, so there's one that reads Season's Greetings and may women's fundamental human rights be realized. Yay, that's with all of these are from Sanam.
Yes.
Really?
He's so inspired. That's
I
why
think
it's
that's
really nice
it,
to
right?
Sanam
hear.
rocks.
I think the one that all I want for the holiday is the colonial and feminist revolution. It's not from Sanam. It might be you, Amelia. Was it you?
No.
Is it
No.
Bhumika?
That's from Bhumika. So it
Ah,
says, all I want for the holidays is the colonial and feminist revolution that breaks free of the structural
Structural.
injustices of a colonial, patriarchal, and racist world order toward liberation via what
Repair?
could be
Repair
repair
and
and change.
dance.
And change.
and doesn't change.
Yeah, we can also dance.
I love it. I really love
Let me ask
the
if our team can help us just to highlight Bhumika's card as we keep on talking. This is a really very powerful card, at the colonial and feminist revolution, which is really the spirit of the campaign of campaigns. We don't want just neutral revolutions that are not keeping at the core really transformative movements, and that comes with the project that the feminist movement has. And then the second one is no, the one on the Bhumika's card on the
The
decolonial and
colonial.
feminist,
Yeah.
decolonial and feminist transformation. And decolonial, because we cannot just pretend that transformation is just gonna come equally for everybody. We need to understand about the exploitation that women and people from the global south had been facing all of these years, and this is why we really need a decolonial transformation. We cannot just keep on just working on neutral visions. That's it.
What I like about Bhumika's card is that she mentioned the word revolution, in one breath, a decolonial feminist revolution that challenges and transforms structural barriers. So it's like a total package, no? Which I think is really important to highlight, because nowadays I think people are talking about a Green New Deal as if this will be the one to change into a more sustainable growth, etc., etc., but without emphasizing that a Green New Deal has to be global. It's not just something that is done within one's own borders. A Green New Deal, for it to be transformative, has to be decolonial and feminist as well. No, so I think Bhumika's card captures our aspirations, our struggles, and our advocacies, because that is one thing that we need to clarify. No, we cannot just hope that parliaments and legislation, policies and laws will bring about a Green New Deal. Now you have to recognize all the inherent power dynamics that you have to not only challenge but also break down. No, so I really like her card, no, that breaks free of the structural injustices of a colonial,
Yes.
patriarchal, and racist world order. Yeah.
Yes, and let us not talk about the colonial origins of the global Green New Deal, but let's leave that for another occasion. I
Yep.
just also wanted to say that Bhumika really wanted to be here, but in the very last minute she couldn't. But she sent me a message to the audience, And also to all of you, the Spice Girl, she says that she also wants to deliver this message. The most important thing is our relationships and connections with each other. So this is a message for the holiday season and the closure. She says ritual and celebration we do together should happen. We need to focus also on rituals, and that to build our movement is not only analysis and fight energy of struggle and resistance. It is also building our connections, our relations, our trust, and our communion through ritual. So that is really really lovely, and it's really something that we that was moving us to organize this Spice Girls holiday special, because I don't think we take enough time to work on this community ritual, right? But this is what is happening right here with all of these beautiful cards and messages and inspiration for the future.
And the fact that we're coming together and wearing this
Yeah, more ridiculous we cannot be for you, dear audience.
Like this become a ritual.
we're starting our own traditions now.
And you know, Emilia and Rina and Ted, I think that also the message from Bhumika, a person that I also have to say I keep on learning a lot. So, and thanks to
Yeah.
these moments of, reflection that we have here with the Spice Girls and the Campaign of Campaigns, I continue to learn from her, her in-depth capacity to put together, this macroeconomic analysis together with, what's going on with debates at the UN level. She's an incredible and amazing, I think, feminist that we have in our group. Is that we need also some ways to depart ourselves from other forms of feminisms. There's a use of feminism today. I hear it here in my country, in Uruguay. Many women that consider themselves feminists that don't have, a project that is about, decolonization or tapping on the structural inequalities. It's more like, open space for women, and they still call themselves feminists, which I think it's okay. I think that they are owning a space of their own, and they call it feminism. But I think that this way of talking about a revolution, that taps on the structural issues and decolonize ourselves also in many of the aspects of how we work. We need also to think of, how we can start improving and creating a better way of, of relating to each other across continents, across identities. But I do need that decolonizing, word next to my feminist project of life for me and for the others. Otherwise, it's a bit vague. It's not long term, and so I really appreciate and more. Even I hear that word. It's not a social movement word only. It's also a word that it's being used now in the academia. More and more, I hear it in the
True.
UN corridors. So this decolonization, it's something that I think it's gaining ground too. And we need also to understand new forms of decolonizing, right? And colonizing, actually. The new forms that even the corporates, that I am following that part of the macroeconomic governance. It's how they are, colonizing our ways of, thinking, our ways of producing, our ways of consuming, and now deciding who gets to live and who gets to die, because of the vaccines and treatments. So thank you for that, Bhumika.
Yes, Bhumika. I just wanted to highlight as well that Bhumika gives us a route. It's like she's giving us a lot of homework. She says, the colonial feminist revolution that breaks free of structural injustices. She gives us a pathway of colonial, patriarchal, and racist world order. So it's like we cannot just keep on working on in isolation on each of these things and without mapping it at the global level. And she says towards liberation via repair and change. And I think reparations is really very much at the heart of the campaign of campaigns. And we want to promote that next year. And we need to unpack what is reparation mean, because it's like we cannot just keep on saying that we will want a revolution and everything that's done is done. We want to give back, honor what happened and repair what happened. And that is something that we need to think of collectively, right? We cannot just think that the repair can only come by via of money or by via of a statue, of a monument. We need to think collectively. How are we going to do all of the reparation work that many groups of population need, many also historically groups that have been oppressed, and we need to do our work as well, community in a community level. So thank you, Bhumika, for your fantastic message. And I think we take it to heart about the ritual. Let's think if we can promote some new rituals for next year. Yay! Anybody else wants to show their cards? I can show mine. Okay, let's work with that. And afterwards, I will show mine. Season greetings, and may women's fundamental human rights be realized. Yay! Yeah, that's from Sanam, right? We have another. Oh, it's season's greetings and distant work for all. Yes. I mean, really, I don't think we have emphasized enough the issue of distant work. Rina, you're the expert. Because you're actually calling for strikes, or all sorts of strikes, and as a form of liberation.
No, no, because Amelia, we first
We
met
with that. I know, we met with that issue.
We met and then we, become friends because we work on decent work paper together for women.
Yes. Go late of the SDGs. That's how we met.
Yeah, I think
Rina
this is
and I were shaping.
Yeah, it's really, really important to actually highlight the issue of decent work. And I think that the more reason of it is also, like now with the COVID-19 pandemic happen, and then all the issue in relation with the job loss, of especially for women working in the informal sector, for women garment workers, and then also for women who are actually, like the migrant women also, right? There's also have that issues right now. So this decent work is actually very, very important for us. We know that for the feminist movement, we have been working together with many feminist trade unions that also pushing for the decent work languages in many of our UN conversation, and then also negotiation texts and everything. So we are really recognizing the work that the trade union and then feminists also in the trade union do for all of this year to campaign for the decent work and living wage, right? So there's a lot of issue this year also that in the COVID-19 situation, when we look into the issue of work and then recognizing the unpaid care work that women is actually do, and then also how this model of capitalism that we have is really intentionally designed actually to exploit women's unpaid and underpaid care work. So it's really something that Amelia, did we actually have a session on this? I think so, right? We did have a session. We did actually have an episode on this, right? It's part of our episode. And then, it's very, very important to highlight that, especially now when we are talking about the feminist future, what is actually what we want, we want actually a model of development that really recognize the work that women does. So I'm going to give it maybe to Tete or Amelia for any other comments on this.
Yeah, I was just it brought me back. It brought back a lot of memories, no, that
Yeah.
during this pandemic season, everyone is talking about the need for care,
Yeah.
recognizing the value of care work, because and usually it's on women that is relegated into that kind of traditional care work. And it's just so appalling that we recognize, the value of care, the value of frontliners, the value of um, caring for each other in this pandemic. But then this is also the season where we see the highest unemployment rates.
Mm.
No, people are just um, falling into unemployment in a scale that is unprecedented. And as a result, people are also falling more and more into the informal sector, where they are very, very vulnerable to different forms of exploitation. So it feels I feel very emotional about this, because that is our lived reality. We
I
know
feel, yeah.
family members who have lost their jobs, um, people out there who are just trying to make both ends meet. And then on the other hand, you see the gross inequality that, the rich become richer in this pandemic season. We have more billionaires, new billionaires, while people are barely, struggling to be alive on a day-to-day basis. So it's like this wish for decent work also brings back a lot of the realities of massive perverse inequality in our midst. I'm feeling
Yeah.
reflective now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, when maybe during the pandemic, one of the good news was also that more and more people understood, what we meant for so many years, what we meant by care work, right?
Mm.
So many even movements, that are the ones that, our natural allies, I think that for the first time we are like also living through their own bodies, what we meant by care work. They were dealing with that on daily basis in their homes, with their families, with their communities. So I think that it was a good moment, I think, for the push on creating stronger care systems. But one of the things that, to me, this call, on decent work is the future of work, right? And the future of work is one of the things that I hear a lot here in Latin America. And Emilia, you may agree with me that all these, technology changes, are, it's like a threat to work and jobs, right? And it's like there will be no more jobs for people, there will be increase unemployment, and that is not so true. There's going to be a change in how we work and how, things are produced, and how its work is let's say envisioned, and jobs are created. But the threat is more on trade unions, on workers' rights,
Yeah, exactly. Workers'
right?
rights.
On the ways of organizing. Now in Uruguay, one of the lands of rights and opportunities, today they are passing a law that puts limits to trade unions. Now all the trade unions need
What?
to formally legalize, they need to present, like an NGO. They need to present all the papers, all the accounting. Otherwise, they will be considered illegal.
What?
So this is new. It's historical in Uruguay. They are using ILO. They are saying that ILO is one of the things that requests, and this is not
What?
true. ILO
No.
doesn't say anything about the way unions, organize themselves. But this is the threat, I think. The threat is on the
Human rights.
ways and the formation of unions, the freedom to associate, the freedom of speech, the freedom of, the access to information, all of that trade unions have gained, not just decent work, right? But all the things that we have gained through trade unions, to me, are the things that alert me, right? Because capitalism has seen that trade unions can do a lot. It's not just, paralyzing. They can gain rights. They can achieve a lot of things for everybody. They can put equality in the agenda of, of governments. And so
Yes.
I'm really thinking about how also as feminists who have a relationship with trade unions, but there are not so many feminists inside the trade unions. It's more that feminists, but collaborate, or we exchange information, or we work together, let's say on different moments, like the 8th of March, or different moments of the day, of the year. But we need to really pay attention to that. I am really scared about the persecution of trade unions. In Uruguay now, there is a persecution against teachers, against the associations of students. And so, it's a way to really erode rights, erode democracies. And so this is what the card inspired me to think about.
Ale, thank you so much. And let me turn it as well into a holidays wish to support and stand in solidarity and join and aligned with the powerful trade unions that are doing so much for the world. I think people disassociated that this is about daily life, and the trade unions have won so many fights, and as you say, they keep on winning fights. So let's just give a huge hug, a virtual hug to our friends with the trade unions, and really wish the best and stand in solidarity. Plan plenty of actions, plenty of strategies with trade unions for next year. Yes. Thank you for this. What other card do we have? I can show you mine. So
Yes,
first,
please.
so this is very corny.
I
The
don't
first
believe
one
you.
is a Jane Austen card that reads, run mad as often as you choose, but do not faint. So this is a card with a quote by Jane Austen, one of Jane Austen's novel, Mansfield Park. But in the opposite, I just wrote, all I want for these holidays are reparations and redistribution. I think it's a combo that we really need to start supporting, reparation and redistribution. It's at the core of our fight, because I think we've been pushing a lot for redistribution. And what does that mean in impacting the distribution of resources, of power, of decision making, of the distribution of access to justice, of access to human rights, of opportunities, but also reparation. It's something else, and it's challenging us. It's coming from the framework of indigenous peoples movements, and but now the different traditions of decolonizations are starting to think, how can we bring reparations to the global world order, and how can we think in terms of climate change, in terms of debt, in terms of tax justice, in terms of trade justice? What does that reparation look like in the new world order, in our revolution? What are we going to do? So this is all I want for my holidays and for 2022 is reparations and redistribution. So this is my card.
Nice.
And also running mad as often as you choose, but do not faint. That's also a good message for our activists. Sometimes I feel like I'm going insane, I'm going super upset, I'm going super depressed. But it's like, so just run mad as often as you choose, but do not faint. Keep on regaining the spirit and come back renovated, re-energized, with a lot of love, and hope for the type of work that we're doing. So that is my wish for the holidays. Yay!
Lovely. Yeah.
Do we have another card?
I found one.
Yes, Tetet.
Whoa, Tetet. Is that
Yeah.
you made it or what? You made it in
No,
that like
I
that.
I was
Tetet was just
trying to
drawing fiddling really
I was trying
quickly.
to get the inspiration, but the muses were not cooperating with me. But I found this card that was given to me 15 years ago.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so it must have meant something for me to keep this card for 15 years. So I was looking at the messages now. So it says peace, compassion, love, joy, equity, justice.
Oh,
Amen to all of that.
Yeah, so
yeah.
this is my wish for everyone. But I think you see how it's all connected, no? We can hope for peace, but we have to work for justice. We have to realize equity in order for us to have joy. And that will bring us, our deep love for each other, for, our communities, this planet. It compels us to work with so much passion and compassion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I love it
yeah,
that you also added.
now I'm realizing, yes, this card must have meant something to me for me to keep it for 15 years.
Lovely. I was gonna say I love it that you also added joy. I mean the joyful part to Bhumika's card when you say dance.
Exactly.
It's like we always want to have joy in our
And
wishes.
pleasure. We
Of
have
Yes,
course.
pleasure.
indicated so many times, that we need to talk about pleasure and joy and happiness, it's central.
Yes,
And I
passion.
liked the way that everything is interdependent, right? And interconnected. Something that
Mhm.
also I think feminisms have been very, with our analysis, what we have been all the time saying, this is interconnected. And so that's a card that also shows that, there is no order. You need all that interconnected. There's no one without the other. And I guess that with the pandemia also, that lesson that everything is interdependent. What started in China is affecting now my home, my family, miles away. And the solution will not come from me or from China, will come from somewhere else. And we all need to be connected. And if, we affect the Amazonia, that affects my, access to water, or, or oxygen in Uruguay. So everything is interconnected. So I really appreciate the way that we also say that these messages of love, of hope, and justice are also connected, cannot be one without the other.
Yeah, and to me, it's very important to talk about joy and passion and pleasure, as you, Ale, are saying, because this year, especially after the COP, it was super tough. It was super tough. It took me weeks to recover. I felt it as a very traumatic event, and I know for many of us, it was so. So, talking about joy and pleasure, it's also it means something else to our community of activists, and I think it's something that we need to keep on reminding ourselves on where are we coming from, what is our dream, and that our dream is also very much alive in the vision of many people around the world. We're not alone. We're not crazy. We're not just despaired, angry, crazy people just wanting to change things that are so set in stone, and we sometimes we feel hopeless, but I think it's really important to remind all of ourselves that the struggles that we're making are very important, even if we have very very tiny successes and victories, and even if we don't, just the effort of trying to build something collectively is so crucial in these times of global challenges. So just it's very important to send a message like this, even to ourselves, to remind us that there is something that needs to keep on driving our work, even in the harshest of times.
I think this year has also taught me how to value self care,
Mm.
because as activists, we're always pushing, we're always busy, and it seems like you feel guilty when you're not doing anything. But because of the pandemic, we are all forced to slow down a little bit. But then comes our Zoom meetings left and right. Rina has 7 Zoom meetings on the average in one day, and it feels like um we're living in a virtual world where you feel that every minute you have to be doing something. No, so I think now I've realized the value of taking a pause, taking a break, say, no, I can't take it now. This is too much for me for the day. If I'm going to be here for the long haul, and of course, we know that the struggle is, very strategic. It's not going to be realized tomorrow or in the next few days. We also have to take care of ourselves, take care of each other, and take care of others. We can only give what we have. So that's a very important lesson that I learned for this year. No Zoom meetings
Lovely.
beyond the 12 midnight.
Yes, especially you who are always taking notes of all of these insane negotiations in the middle of the night. Okay, thank you, Tata. I mean, I think we have other cards. We can go through them. Deck the
Yes,
halls.
we have other cards, but just a note, maybe our audience, like Sehnas, Matty, please put it in the chat or comments on what is your wish for this holiday season. What
Yes,
what you want for holiday is what. So just put it in the chat box or in the comments so we can also read it together. Yeah.
yes, that would be lovely. And also feel free to draw something and send us by tweet, by Facebook post, a comment, or anything, and we will honor it with a lot of heart. So we have this one: deck the halls and smash the patriarchy. That's really very Sanam.
We should have Sanam to actually hear. Yeah. Oh, it's too bad. Oh, this is me again. We already done this one.
Yes, I think we have another one from Sanam.
We already read
May
everything. Decent work. The fundamental human rights. Oh, the other one.
How about
The
the
one in the
orange
middle
card?
bottom.
Yeah.
What is this? What is that one? I think that is Jingle Bell something. It's supposed to be a song, isn't it? By the
uh,
way, this is what Sehnas said. Sehnas said that all I want for
yes,
holiday is economic, ecologic, and social justice, gender equality, human rights for all, well-being and prosperity for all, and to see the despised girls dance in real life.
yes.
Oh, I love you, Sehnas, and then you need to be there when we are doing it.
Sanas, we love you and miss you. You have been fantastic, really, Sanas. And for people who doesn't know Sanas, she's a driving force of the feminist movement in her role as the secretariat of the women's major group. She's been pushing and she's been a creative force, an inspiring force. She's there when you're down. She's there to uplift us all, and she's there tell to tell us that we need to keep on working. That we cannot just being inspired by the feminist work that we need to deliver. So thank you, Shanaz, for being this driving force of the feminist global movement. And yes, hopefully all of our wishes come true and we have an opportunity to see each other in 2022. Yay.
Inshallah.
That's true. Wow, what happened to? I think that Amelia. Uh, now we can actually read this. That Ale, can you read it? Like, what does it
No,
say? Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
I don't see that. I don't
Or
see
however
the.
for you feel comfortable. Okay, it's consent. I cannot see that. Apparently, I'm really sorry.
Consent
Yeah,
must be mutual and continuous.
Yes, that's great.
Sanam is really a very creative, no? And she really takes time to make all of these cards personally, no? And then she sends it via post.
yeah.
Amelia, you're
Hey,
back.
yes,
You're
you're
back.
back. Yeah. Just wanted to make an announcement as well. Oh, Shana says, "Oh, thank you so much for saving me through," and I'm so blush right
Oh.
now. Oh, no, thank you, Shana, for everything you do. And yes, for the audience, please keep on sending your comments and your wishes. Just wanted to say an announcement because the Campaign of Campaigns is having a photo contest, and we really want to hear from all of you. So the Campaign of Campaigns is hosting a photo contest on Instagram. We invite you to celebrate care work with us by taking a picture of what comes to mind when you think of care work and upload it to Instagram. So tag us when you're uploading it to Instagram. And it would be amazing because you can have the chance to be featured on our website, the newsletter, and the Insta stories. So please use the hashtag celebrate care work. And we look forward to hearing from all of your submission of your photo contest. I think this is really a lovely way also to think about care work in your own context and not just, in the theoretical way sometimes we talk. So please also share the ways in which you think you engage in care work and the way you want it to be, the way you feel inspired, and we will honor it here in the Campaign of Campaigns. Yay.
Yes, yes. And I really hope that the one who get, the winner or something, we can invite them as a Despise Girls also.
Oh, yes. That would be amazing. Yes.
That would
So
be
you
great.
have
That would be
another
great.
incentive. Okay, people, do you have your beverage to toast on for the holidays? Or go and get it?
I have mine. Doing it.
Oh, Ale.
What is Ale having?
My mate.
So nice.
It's 12. And look at my Frida.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. Oh, wow. I want that. Where did you buy that, Ale? Can
Here
you buy?
in Uruguay. In
Oh,
Uruguay.
that's so nice.
It's a friend that her sister, I think, is from Mexico, so she does all these things for the mate with the Frida in different colors and costumes.
That's so cute.
You will see Ale everywhere in the world drinking her mate.
Yep.
So,
Everywhere.
yeah. So
Okay.
cheers to everybody
Cheers
for the
to us,
holidays.
to our friendship and activism
Cheers.
across the world, across time zones.
Yes.
Cheers to everyone. The women united.
We'll never
be
be
defeated.
defeated.
Yeah. And then happy holiday, everyone. And then hope your holiday greetings come true for the next year.
Exactly. Aluta continua
Yes, see
in
you next year.
See
2022.
you next year,
Love
everyone. Bye
you.
bye.
Ciao.